Okay, so
Yeah.
today, yes, any question?
Yeah. No, it was there. I wanted to practice and I found it.
Yeah. Actually for the one we were facing problem, I actually uploaded it and then I tried again and it became duplicate. So I had to delete
Delete.
one and all that. That's why it
Yeah.
got delayed. But generally, I update within half an hour of the class.
Yes, I saw yesterday's.
Yeah.
Yesterday I was distracted in between, but today I did everything, whatever was done
Okay, great.
using TestNG.
Okay, so we
Yeah,
will.
I also tried the.
Okay, great. Sandeep, I hope you at least got some chance to go through the video, Sandeep.
No, actually, I was traveling.
Okay,
Uh,
so
this week
from
I will do that. So that.
okay, fine. Yeah, then. So I'll get started now. So last time we were looking at TestNG, and I have already given access of my Bitbucket to all of you. So in case if ever there is a change in password, please you can ask me for credential. I keep changing it once in 2-3 months. Also, one more thing, please start taking the code, all this code, and keep it in your desk. I mean, after like few months of the session, I will delete this particular package. So if you want, I'll tell you. I mean, maybe in the I don't know how feasible it will be in today's session, but in one of the sessions, I will tell you how to put your code in Bitbucket and how to take my entire code which you see. Okay, so all that also I will let you know how to do that. Okay, but for now let's get started. So we were looking at TestNG, right? TestNG. So what I'm going to do. So do you guys know what is a thread? Yes, multi-threading concept. Anybody knows that? Kirti, I think so. You will know.
I know, but I'm not sure if I would be able to explain it.
Okay, try it. That's okay. Nobody will know since nobody's answering, so that's okay. Whether you, yeah, what is a thread? Are you trying? Hello.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Are you composing
So
your answer?
no. Actually, using multi-threading, I think two or multiple tasks we can do at the single time, right? Single program or maybe
Okay.
simultaneously.
Yeah, that's correct answer. Let me explain to you in a little bit more details. So let's take this multi-threading. Exception handling. Yeah, let's take this diagram which you see in front of you here. So consider that this is my supercomputer, and in a supercomputer I can have various applications running. I can have my video player running, I can have my music player running, notepad, browse internet, right? So as you can see in this session, when we are in the session, I have various applications. OneNote is there, Eclipse is there, browsers are there, right? So they are different applications running. So this is multi-processing, right, Kirti? These are number of different processes which are running and they are independent of each other. This is multi-processing, right? Now if this is multi-processing, then what is multi-threading? Now let's take an example of music player again. Okay, if you look at the music player, so let's say if you people play music, while you are playing the music, you can simultaneously create a playlist or manage a playlist, download songs from internet maybe, and do browsing of songs and all that, right? So the main application is music player, but there are sub processes as you see here. All these are sub processes which are assisting the main process. Yes, no, they are assisting the main processes, and all of it is happening simultaneously, right? So these sub processes are nothing but these are the threads in Java, and this concept is known as multi-threading. Okay, now actually, truly speaking, so Smita, truly speaking, suppose we have a thread process. Let's say there is a process 1, there is a process 2, right? Process 3, there are number of processes, and there is one CPU, right?
Yeah.
Now if there is one CPU, let's say the processes are running in round robin fashion, P1 P2 P3, then P1 P2 P3, right? Now
Mhm.
you see a movie, right, Smita? If you see a movie, you see that characters are performing actions in the movie, right?
Yeah.
But actually it is a static frame which is moving very very fast, that it gives an illusion that it is a it is some action or movements happening, but they are just static frames which are changing at a very fast rate. Is that right?
Yes.
Similarly, when you think of a CPU, if there is only one CPU, at any given point of time only one process can only run. So first P1 will run, then P2 will run, then P3 will run. Then why is it that we get an feeling that all the processes are running simultaneously? It is because the switching of processes between the CPU is so fast, so fast, so fast that our brains get an illusion that they are all running parallelly, right? So if you will see, if I have a single processor machine, I'm running one node, I'm running, this is Eclipse, right? This is my browser, right? They all are not running simultaneously. If there is a single CPU, they are running one after the other. But to the human eye, the switching between CPU is so fast, an illusion that all of this is happening all together. And this is the idea behind multiprocessing. Does it make sense?
Yes.
Yes. Same way, if you split a main process into sub processes, so for example, if you're playing a media player, which I just showed to you, right? If you're playing a media player, within the media player you could split it into sub processes which will assist the main process. Assist the main process means, if it is a music player, right? If it is a music player, it will have sub processes like creation of playlist, updating the playlist, downloading songs, browsing songs, right? So main process is music player. So do you, when you download the song, do you pause your song? No, right?
No.
While you are listening to song, you can also download it, right? And therefore this concept is known as multi-threading. Anamika, I hope it is all right now. Is the humming still there? Yes. You
Yeah, I think somebody is microphone is on. That's why it's
okay?
coming.
I will unmute everyone. Okay. Sorry, I'll mute everyone so that there is no disturbance. Okay, so this is how basically the concept of threading works, right? Now, why did I explain this to you? I explained it so that so that we can understand the concept of multi-threading in TestNG. Okay, so now that we know, we have a little idea or a fair idea of what is multi-threading. Now we are going to create a few threads in TestNG, right? So I have already covered a suite file yesterday, and I told you how to create a suite file and benefit of creating a suite file, right? So in a suite file, you can have multiple test cases, right? And a test case can have multiple classes or a single class depending upon how you want to do it, right? So what I'm going to do is, let me create another suite file, and I'll just make a copy of this. So first of all, we will just 1 minute. Okay, so what I'm going to do is in this suit file which I just created, where is this file? Yeah, in this file I will first of all take a very simple example. I'll delete this, and I'll only keep one single class in this, and this class is test. Okay, so this is the one. um, okay, let's uh, THREADS. Okay, I'm just renaming it, and let's keep it all very simple. I'll not, oh sorry, not this. I'll just make it as test case, right? Just so that we first understand the concept, right? So I have what, around 5 methods in this particular class, which is, it's still there. S- s- so can you still hear the humming, Smita? Is that what you are saying? Okay, can you reconnect quickly with the link? Maybe reconnecting will solve the issue.
Yeah, I'm also hearing that, but
Humming is there. Okay, I will then, what should I do? Okay, all of you are hearing. In that case, I will, I'll resend a meeting invite. Okay, I'll stop, I'll end this meeting, I'll send. Is your window open? Which window, Smita? Oh no, no, none of my windows are open.
Yeah, it's like a wind blowing, you know, like,
Oh, wind blowing, maybe it is a fan.
yeah,
Just one minute.
not that severe actually. I mean,
Huh?
yeah.
Is it okay now?
it's there, but I don't think
Yeah, it's still there.
we can go ahead.
Okay, I'll resend a meeting invite if it is still there. I don't know because I have turned on my fan also. I'll send meeting invite again. Okay. Okay, if it is okay now, then we can continue.
Yeah,
It's fine. It's
seems
fine
to
now.
now.
Okay. So okay, so some okay, so let's continue further. So this class is there. It has various methods here, right? All these methods are there. Now I'll go to the suite file. In the suite file, I'll specify the name of that particular class with the package name. So it is THREADS, right? So this is my suite. It has a test and it has a class here. Right now, what I'm going to do is, now I told you yesterday also that you don't have to remember any of this tag. Simply by saying control spacebar, you can find out the annotations which you should make use of, right? So what I'm going to do is I'll say control spacebar here. So I'll say control spacebar, and you will see that it gives me an option of parallel, right? And on the right side there are various options, whether it is true, false, none method. So I'll say parallel equal to methods, right? And control spacebar thread count is, let's say, 1. So what does it mean? It means that in this given class which you see in front of you, for this class, run all the methods in parallel, and the thread count is 1, right? So if thread count is 1, it means that only one thread will run, and if only one thread is running, that means that I mean multi-threading will not happen, right? Yes, guys, girls. Yeah. So just 1 minute. Yeah. So if there is one single thread, multi-threading will not happen. So let's what do I mean by that? Let me go ahead here. and let me display the ID. So it means that, okay, let me display the ID. Let me first of all make it only two methods so that it is easy to understand. So there is a method available in Java uh, where I can say thread dot current thread dot get of ID, and I can say sys out of this. Okay, so what this does is it will display the ID of the current thread which is running, right? So let me copy and paste this here also. So I will put it here as well. Right, now let's see what happens. So when I run this suit file, when I run the suit file, you will see that it will display the ID of the thread which is running. And in this case, I have chosen to create one single thread, count as one. So let's run this file, right click, run as testng-2. So let's see what happens. Okay, so can you see that in both the cases the ID is 11, right, Anamika? In both the cases the ID of the thread is 11. Is that right? Yeah. And since ID is 11, it means that there must be the same thread, right? Because each process or a thread has an ID. And if in each method, so in this method, each method, if it is the same ID of the thread, it means same thread is running this method as well as this method. Is that right, Sandeep?
Yes.
Yeah. So currently only one single thread is running. Now what I will do is I'll go here and I can increase the count from 1 to 2. Okay, so if I increase the count from 1 to 2, let's run this suit file again, right click, run as Java suit. So you will see that the IDs have changed to 11 and 12, meaning that this means that this particular thread, sorry, this particular method is running in different thread and this particular method is running in another thread. So this is a concept of multi-threading, right? Now let's say if I uncomment this also, right? Now there are two threads only, right? So first what will happen, one thread will take up this, another will take up this, then the thread which finishes the method will take up another method, and the next method thread might take another method. So this is how the multi-threading works in the case of testng. I mean, you can even specify more threads. So let's say I make it id1 equal to, okay, and then I'll make it so that we understand that which is which. So id2 equal to plus, then
You gave the same ID for both.
post, yeah, id1. Okay, then I'll put here 3, then I put here 4, and then I put here 5, right? Now if you will see, sorry, 5. Now we have created only two threads, right? And since there are only two threads, so we'll get only two IDs. So let's run this suit file once again, right click, run as testng-2, right? So as you can see, we get to see 11 12 11 12, right? ID is 11 12 11 12. So now let's increase the count of the suit thread count as 5. So what will happen now, Sandeep? Each method will run in a single thread. Is that right?
Okay.
Yeah. So I'll right click on this and say run as testng-2. So can you see now it is 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, right? Yes, does it make sense, all of you? Smita and others? Anamika, is it clear?
Yes.
Okay. Okay, so what I will do is I will share this code is already it in Bitbucket. I'll put it in Bitbucket. Please take it quickly and try it out. Sandeep, meanwhile, can you open your Eclipse? I'll help you do the setup quickly. Sandeep, is your Eclipse open? So I hope you people know from where to take the code, right? I'm assuming your TestNG is installed. Most of you had. So you have to go to src test java. You have to go to this directory, src test java. I'm pinging it on the chat. All of you, please quickly take the code and try it. Test java. Inside that, go to this folder structure or package, and you can find the code from there. Please try it out quickly. Sandeep, can you do you have an Eclipse open, Sandeep?
Yes.
Yeah. Can you quickly share your screen? I'll do quick setup for you. Okay, so just 1 minute. Just 1 minute. Go to help. Go to help. Go to Eclipse Marketplace.
Sir, which file we should take?
I have
Yes,
given you the package name, right?
yes, that.
Inside
Okay.
that there is a suit file, right? Suit2.xml.
Yes.
Take that one, and that has one class file I'm using. Take that. Actually, you can take all the files if you want to.
Okay, I can see only suit.xml in the
Oh, is
TestNG
it
folder.
just one? Just so you are in which folder? SRC test Java, right?
Yes, SRC test Java, COM C2T, API,
IST 800.
IST 800, weekend TestNG.
Okay, it is not checked in out. Just PWD. Just refresh it once.
Okay, fine.
Refresh it. Can you see now?
Yes, I can see now.
Okay. Okay, Sandeep, search for TestNG here.
I guess I will have it. Let's.
If it is there, then we will not. If it is not there, then we'll have to test ng.
Yes.
Yesterday I sent one link for the jar files. Did anybody bookmark it? Does anybody have it with them?
It's already
Yeah,
installed.
yeah, then it is fine. Okay, so you need the jar files. Okay, jar is 6412 you have. Okay, this looks fine. So let me just quickly check. 1 second, Sandeep, give me control.
Okay.
So you can. Others, please try it quickly.
Yes.
Sorry, I'm not able to find this path.
I have pinged on the chat.
Yeah, SRC. So it should start with SRC, is it,
Yes,
or it should
SRC.
be a.
At the top, it should be SRC.
Okay, let me see.
You have JUnit. Okay, you don't have TestNG reference libraries.
Naresh, I have
Uh,
a question.
yeah, just
Uh,
just 1 minute. Let me.
okay.
Does anybody have that link which I shared with all of you yesterday?
For downloading the files?
Jar file. Yes.
Yeah, I have.
Yeah.
Let
Can you
me,
please
let me,
ping it again?
sure. I'll ping you.
Sandeep, take that link which he's sending and
Okay.
create a folder here under Connect to Tech SOAP RPC and name it as what you say libs or JU test
Okay.
lib and
Okay.
copy those files. Okay,
Okay.
unzip and copy it. Yeah, Anamika, what is your question?
Yeah, my question is like I was trying to download those files from Bitbucket. So, like, is there a way I can download entire package or
Yes,
like one by
will.
one?
I will tell it to you. Maybe not today, but in the upcoming session, we will not like this. Sandeep, click on the right side arrow, top right arrow. Download the entire zip. Top right. Sandeep, go back. Just top right.
Right.
जहाँ वो picture बनी हुई है, beside that picture 3 dot is there.
Yeah,
Yeah.
download the whole thing.
There was
Yeah,
chat
yeah.
window
So
was there.
I will tell you, Anamika, how to use Git briefly, so that you can download or take the entire project as it is. Okay.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay. So I hope all of you are done with the example, threading example. Yes, Smita.
Yes.
Okay. So we will.
Smita, I'm not sure who. Anamika, can you share this link with me also? This TestNG link,
She
lib
sent it
file.
on the chat.
I put it on
Oh,
chat.
okay.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Copy this files inside this. Copy Control A. Yeah, create a folder here, Sandeep, under Connect to
Yeah.
Tech SOAP RPC. Create a folder and copy everything there.
Yes.
Okay, so just now what we have done is we have done parallelism. Parallelism in Sandeep, can you stop sharing?
Sure.
So just now what we have done is we have achieved parallelism at method level, right? So what happens depending upon the number of thread count which we have given, those many threads are created and each method in that class, which is this class, will be executed by a single thread, right? So what is the benefit? The benefit is that if you want to get more done in less time, for example, you can have more threads running and each thread might be working on some part of your code or some methods and processing can be completed quickly, right? Now let's say I create one more class, I'll call it thread 2, right? So I'm going to I will replace so that we know the difference between what is what. So I'll say find this, replace with uh, this is THREAD 2 slash, I'll say replace all, right? Oh, not this. Find ID, find replace, find replace. This is so this way. I'm just trying to show you that they are coming from different files, so I'll put it like this. I think so. Okay, so I'm creating two different classes, and now instead of method level thread, I'm going to create class level thread, right? So here I will go, and instead of parallel uh, methods, I'll say class, right? And here I will make the thread count as 2, right? And inside this I'll specify two classes, right? And the second one is 2 here, right? Now what will happen, since there are two threads, one thread will run this whole class and another thread will run the whole class, this one, right? So as an output for this particular one, we'll see same IDs for all of this and one single ID for all of this where there is thread 2. Why? Because as you will see in the source file here, I have explicitly stated that I want to run the classes in two threads. So it will pick up one thread and run, sorry, it will pick up one class and run it with one thread, and it will pick up second class and run with another thread, right? So let me run this suite file for you. Right click, run as testng suite. So you will see, let's see the output. So you will see wherever there is thread 2, thread 2, thread 2, thread 2, thread 2, it is the same ID, right? Isn't it, Kirti? Whereas in the other case, it is 11, 11, 11, 11, and 11. So basically we have started two threads. One thread is running one class, second thread is running second class. So this is another way of achieving parallelism. Does it make sense, Anamika, Smita?
Yeah, I want to like little bit relate with something. So like for my understanding, so
Okay.
like for like tests are running on multiple VDIs or something. So that's how we use TestNG to
Yes. So
control that.
yes.
Okay.
Now I don't know what you mean by VDI, but let's say you want to run some test cases, right? And you have 10,000 test cases. So
Mm-hmm.
you don't want to run them one after the other, right? What you can do is, suppose you have two classes which is completely unrelated, this and this class, they are not related. So you can run this class and this class separately in two different threads so that your testing will happen faster, right?
Okay.
Like let's say in one you are testing functionality one. So one you might be running regression test cases, one you might be running maybe load test, for example. I mean, this is not a very good example, but two different classes for two different scenarios, right? And they are not related. They are not related because they should not have dependency. So
Okay.
you can run one at a time, either one at a time, one after the other. That will take more time, or start two threads both running parallelly, and your time will get reduced, execution time, right?
So functionally, they are like completely separate, not dependent on each other.
Yes. What do you say? They are not at all related, two threads.
Okay.
We can have them, but in this case, there is no relationship between them. Yeah, is it clear?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, okay. Please take the code. Sandeep, can you share your screen? Guys, I have checked in the code. Please refresh and take the code and run it and see if it works fine. Did you add the jars? Yeah, okay. So now you can right click and run. Save this file. Save it, Sandeep. Control, yeah. Right click and run this test ng test. Yeah, so it's running now. Its setup is done. So you can take the other files and keep trying. I think so. You can stop sharing now, Sandeep. Yeah.
Yeah.
Guys, let me know if you're done. I'm waiting. Done, guys, everyone?
Yes, I'm done.
Yeah, what about other people? Okay, Sandeep. Okay, I think so. I will continue. Okay, so this is how we basically create uh, or perform parallelism. There are other options also for parallelism, but we can't cover all of them. So I have given you two or explained two of them to you. Please try out some of them by yourself as well. Okay, so coming back, so a few more things still in TestNG. So there is something called assertion, right? So Kirti, what is assertion?
Assertion is we use assertion to check if the actual result is like to validate the actual result if it is matching with the
Yes, that is right.
expected one.
So generally what we do as a programmer, we say system.out and then we verify whether it is working fine or it is not working fine, right? But in real life, that is not true. I mean, you will not be sitting in front of your or of your machine where the execution is happening and verifying whether each of them is passing or failing, right? You have to let code do it for you. So if you want to look at the formal definition of what is an assertion, maybe I will Google it. What is assertion in test ng, for example? So let's see. So assertion in Selenium WebDriver. Okay, this is specific to WebDriver, but anyway. So TestNG assertions are most frequently used method. Okay, this is okay. Looks like everybody is doing it with. Okay, so it is very specific to, but that's okay. It really doesn't make a difference. I mean, the concept is same. So if I look at this definition, or let's say let's ask in Java, what is assertion in. Okay, so this looks like a better definition. So assert in is a Java keyword used to define an assert statement Assert statement meaning when you tend to assert for something, for its correctness or wrongness, right? So an assert statement is used to declare an expected Boolean condition in a program. If the program is running with assertions enabled, then then the condition is checked at runtime. If the condition is false, the Java runtime system throws an error, right? So from this we should get a cue that or an idea that assertion is to assert whether a certain scenario which we are testing with the help of test cases it's passing or whether it is failing, right? So that is what we need to look at with the help of assertion. So let's try out some program. So you guys all do testing, right? So there are two things we generally have: what is expected value and one is actual value. So you today, if you do manual testing, you will compare expected and actual manually and then pass the test case or maybe fail the test case, right? So same thing we are going to do here. So let me create a program. Let me close this. I'll say new. I'll say class test ng tst ng assertion, right? So here let's say um I have a method here, let's say. So I'll say public void test one open close bracket, and I'll make it as a test method, right? tst. Now let's say that this is a login method, and I'll say I'll import that. Oh, this is JUnit. I have to do testng. Sorry, not this one. We are working on testng. So tst control O. So here I'll take, right? Now what I'll do is I'll define. So here we'll write some of our logic. Let's say I wrote some logic, and from that logic I fetch a value of a parameter, right? So we can say string expe expected value, well, equal to, let's say you were expecting the value of a string to be welcome, right? After maybe successful login, but the actual value string ACTUAL val equal to welcome COME to API, right? So these two values, although when I look at it manually, I know they are different, but programmatically, how do we do that? So there is a concept of assertion in Java. So like I told you, there is a documentation. So if you go to testng.org, right? If you go to this particular link, if you go to Java doc, right, you can see here that there is asserts, in that there is an assertion, right? So this is what we are going to make use of. So I'll say assert control space bar. So I'll import it from testng dot assert equal, right? So what is this assert equal? So let's go to this one, org testng assert, org testng assert assert class, right? So this is a class. Now this has, as you can see, lot of methods. So many methods are there to assert, and all of them are static. If a method is static, it means you can say class name dot method name, right, Kirti? Right, Sandeep?
Yes.
So there are a lot of overloaded method. Means Boolean is there, byte is there, string is there. So you can pretty much compare any kind of data that you want. So I'll say expect actual val here and expected val, right? Now this is basically, I mean, here I have hard coded the statements, but expected value is the one which will be expected value, and actual value is some value which will be set after you do some computation, right? So if I run this program, when I say assert equals expected and actual and expected, I'll say right click and run as testng. So let's see what happens. So can you see that it has failed? Yes, guys. And as a result of failure, it shows the error message here as well. that welcome expected value was welcome, but found was welcome API, right? So this is when your test case is failing. If I make them equal, for example, let's say I make both expected and actual, both of them equal. And if I rerun this program again, right click TestNG. So can you see that it has become green, and therefore it is now passing for me. Clear, Sandeep, Anamika?
Yes.
Okay, please take the code and please try it out quickly.
Please send that Bitbucket link.
Yeah, I have already shared. You want the link? Huh, Sandeep?
Yes, yes.
Okay. I'm sharing this, but please bookmark it for future, okay?
Right.
Is this new code in the same path?
Yes, I'm putting everything in the same location only. Oh, what happened? Just a minute. I'm at, yes. Why it is not going in? Just 1 minute. It's dot get status modified test ng1. Where did I modify test ng1? We are in WebDriver 3x, right? This is pwd WebDriver 3.x. Okay. Status.
I was able to see that file in like
This
assertion
assertions, you
one.
can find it.
Yeah, I
I
was
will,
able to.
okay, just 1 minute. I will, Sandeep, I'll just give you the link. Let me once there is some problem happening. We can write is okay, Sandeep. So I'm just sharing. Do you have the credentials already?
I need to check in my chat history.
No, please save it somewhere, Sandeep, for future. Okay, I'm sharing this time.
I can see the file now.
Okay, yeah, then please take the file. So Sandeep. Okay, I've sent the ID and the password, Sandeep. Please log
Yes,
in
yes,
quickly.
yes. I'll bookmark also.
Yeah. Did you log in, Sandeep?
Yes.
Okay, I'll tell you the path. Please do that quickly. Go to src test Java, src test Java.
Just a moment. Should I share my screen?
Yeah. Share your screen. Yeah, go to src test Java, come down. src test Java, Java, com c2t, com c2t. Yeah, here, yeah, this click this one second only API. Yeah, all the files are here.
Okay.
Yeah, can you stop sharing now? Okay, so guys, you can keep trying. Let's take a break for 10 minutes. We'll come back in 10 minutes and continue from here. Okay.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, I'm muting all of you. Please let me know if you people are back so that we can start. Guys, girls, are you back? Okay, Anamika is back. Kirti, Sandeep, Smita. Sandeep and Smita, please acknowledge quickly. Okay, so while okay, still Smita and Sandeep has not acknowledged. Okay, we will get started. We have already had a 10 minutes break. So coming back, we were talking about assertion, right? So this is the first program of assertion which we saw, right? Now, now, now the best part. Okay, now if you will see, so I hope you people know what is method overloading, right? Kirti, you remember what is method overloading? Hello.
Yeah, we know that.
Yeah, Kirti, what is method overloading, Sandeep?
We can change the implementation and the method names, and method name will be same. Otherwise, parameter and return time will be changed.
Okay, yes. So you are saying that signature changes in method
Right.
overloading, right? So for
Right.
example, sum, you can have sum of 2 numbers or 3 numbers, right? So
Yes.
keeping that in mind, right? So if you look at this documentation which I was just showing to you, so where is that? Not this one, not this one. Where is that one? Yeah, so if where is that gone? Okay, I'll open it again. So if you go to testng.org, a little while back I showed you assert method, right? So if you go to Java doc here, in the Java doc, if you go to org testng, and if you go to this class again called, where is the class called assert, right? If you will go in here, you can see that you have this method overloaded with boolean, and then boolean and a string message, then byte. I mean, for pretty much all the data types that are available in Java, we have it overloaded, right? Now we just now made use of string. So where is the string? String. So we made use of this one actually. Where is that? Yeah, so this one, actual and expected, right, Sandeep? This is what we made use of. Yeah.
Right.
So you will see that it is also overloaded with string actual expected and string message. So meaning that suppose if I run this program and if I fail it, for example, it is 1. So it is going to fail, right? So if I run this, this is going to get failed. And it will give me a message if I select this, that expected welcome but found welcome 1, right? So this is the message I'm going to get. Now what if I want to change my message, right? So I can put use the overloaded method with string argument, and here I can give my own custom message stating that the login has failed, the login failed because, or whatever, as expected and actual values are not same, right? So maybe this is what if you want to put, right? Now if I rerun this, let's see what happens. Right click, run as. So you get to see your own custom message. Can you see the login failed because blah blah are not same? Can you see this?
Yes.
Yeah. So this is a way wherein you can even give your own custom messages in case of a failure is happening, right? Clear, all of you? So this is something I think so you can try it later on. Now the important part is that you can see that you can do it for pretty much any data type, whether it is string data type or integer data type. If you will see, there is an integer is there, double is there, boolean is there, the entire collection is there, right? So there are different methods, and you can even check for whether it is not null or they are not same two objects, right? So this is very exhaustive list which covers pretty much a lot of things, right? So that's about custom messages, if at all you want to do that when the error message is displayed. Now let's look at a little bit of maybe TestNG report. I will say, I will call it 100. Where is this? Okay, so let me take this method and I'll call it underscore reporting, reporting, right? So let me make it simple. I'll delete all this for now. I don't need any of this, and I don't need any of this. Now this is a simple program which is just having three methods. All of them are passing. All of them are passing because I'm not doing any assertion, right, Kirti? So let's say in one of the methods, I deliberately say throw throw new of runtime exception. So what will happen when this program is getting executed? It will throw an exception and it is going to fail, right? So let's try to run this file now. Right click, run as TestNG test. So let's say if it fails. So can you see that first is green, second is green, but this test2 is having an error, and here is the error statement mentioned here, right, Anamika, Kirti? Yeah.
Yeah.
So this is a failed test case, and it gives the message also of the reason of failure. In the previous case, it was because of assertion. This time the error reason of failure is runtime exception, right? Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you report generation. So there are three kinds of report which are generated automatically for you in TestNG. So if you start with, this is the first report. Can you see here, Kirti? This is the first report in the console stating that this is passed, and this is failed, and the reason of failure is mentioned here, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, this is the first report that is generated. Second report is this icon here, which shows in a little bit of graphical form as to the various test cases which pass. So you have failed summary, the entire summary of how there is one class had three method, time it took to execute, right? Can you see these tabs? Yeah. So this is the second report that is generated, and it is done automatically for you, right? Then this is not all. So if I refresh this, and if I go to my project directory location, if I go here, in this, in my case it will be target. So where is that test? So in my case, where is that target? If I go to where is that target test classes, where is that? Okay, I forgot the location. Let me just 1 second. Test. Okay, this is in the folder called test output, not target. TEST, test output, TEST. What is my test output? Why I don't see it? Selenium.
On top. It was on top. Yeah, test output. After Maven.
Yeah, okay. Just
Third one.
Yeah, here. Okay. So if I go inside this, there is one file called index.html. If you will see here, I'll double click this file and open it. Yeah. So can you see that the output which was generated is also available to you in a HTML form, right? And it gives a snapshot of the suit which was run, the test which was run, whether there was a group how many times chronological order is the order in which it is executed, 1, 2, 3, right? Result of 3 methods run, 1 failed and 2 passed. You can click at the failed test case to see the report, right? And passed methods are the passed methods. So this is how you can see a snapshot of all the report that is generated. Okay, and this is not enough. There is yet another report. So if you will go to emailable report, if you click on this, can you see a nice snapshot of all the test cases that were run, the ones that got passed, the ones that got failed? And this is a report which you can email also to your manager or lead or whosoever you want to share it with, right? Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, so what I will do is I'm going to check in that code. I want you to please run the file, run that program report, or you can in fact do it for anyone, but I deliberately failed one test case. So run it and see if you can figure out where are all these reports, and find and view them. Please do that quickly and let me know. All of you, please try it out. I have checked in the code.
So, in which folder we get that report?
So in your, it will be a different folder. Share your screen. I'll tell you the name of the folder. Might be a test output folder.
It's in the workspace folder.
No, go to the directory where your project is. Go to Eclipse. Right click on the project. Right click on the test-ng-2. Yeah, right click on that. Go to properties. In that, click on that arrow, yellow arrow sign. It will yellow arrow sign top right on the dialog box.
Just a second.
Yeah, yellow. Yes, this one. Yes. So it will take you to that particular project directory. Now you can double click and go inside.
Mhm.
Here there will be test output. Yeah, look at
Yes.
that.
Yeah. Okay. I'm stopping share.
Yeah. Done all of you guys, girls?
Yes.
Done, Sandeep, others?
Which file we need to check there? I have gone to that folder.
Share your share your screen. Yeah, in this test output, go click on index.html. Double click on index.html.
Okay. Yes. Okay. I was there. Okay.
And one more is the emailable report is also there. Up here.
Okay.
Yeah. It has opened in the background. Look at the browser.
Okay. Fine.
Yeah. I hope Smita, you can also see that, right?
Yes, yes.
Okay, so we will continue further then. Yeah. So that was regarding the reports. Now, next what we will do is we'll look at groups. In TestNG, we look at groups. So what is a group? So suppose, for example, we might have some test cases. Let's say there is a file, for example, and that file might have number of test cases. Now, number of test cases means there are 100 test cases, but out of them, when you run for the first time, you want to run all 100, but not every time you want to run all 100. So what you can do is you can follow a concept of groups, wherein you will create a group for a given test case, and we will choose to run only specific test cases in that particular group. So I will explain that with an example. Okay, so Sandeep, like when we do testing, there can be hundreds and hundreds of test cases, right? So you might want to group them together. One group could be a regression test case, one group could be a load test, or one could be maybe functional test, or whatever you want to test. Or maybe after first run, when you are rerunning, you might want to run only specific set of test cases, and you might create a group of that, right, Sandeep? Yeah. So what we can do is, this is how we define a group, right? This annotation is used. So and you do not have to remember it. Why you do not have to remember it? Because as I told you, so let's say I create a copy of this, right? I'll say control C, control V. I'll say groups, right? Groups. And once I am in these groups, I will go to, so this is for now, I will not fail it now. I will just keep it like this, right? So I will put a bracket here and I'll say control space bar. Do you see a group somewhere, Sandeep? Yeah, this.
Yes.
So you just say control space bar and you can see the options. You click on here. It accepts string array. String array means it can accept more than one string value, right? So I can say equal to curly braces. This is, let's say, my load test. Load, or let's say I'll call it regression. So this is my regression test case. Okay, this is my regression, and maybe I mean I have just a very small number, but you can have hundreds of test cases in one single file, right? So this one I will have, let's say, load test. right? Load test, for example, and this is not part of any group, let's say. Now, when I create a suite file, what I will do is, 1 second. So when I create a suite file, what I'm going to do is, just 1 minute. Yeah, so I'll go back here. This is my groups, right? I will create one more suite file, Control C, Control V. I'll call it underscore groups, right? And I will go here. Now, as you can see, for the time being, let me delete this and I'll put here which one, TestNG underscore groups, right? So I'll say GROUPS, GROO, right? So I have done this. Now I will go at the test level here. Is here I will say, so Smita, I'll say control. I don't remember what I have to put, right, Smita? I don't somehow remember, so I'll say control space bar. Can you see groups there, Smita?
Yes, yes.
So I'll choose that. Inside that I will again don't know what I have to put, so I'll say control space bar. Can you see that there is an option to say run, right?
Yes.
I'll choose that. Again, inside that I don't know what I have to put. I'll say again control space bar. Can you see include, exclude?
Yeah.
So I'll say include name of the group. So let's say I want to run from this regression, right? So I will go here and I'll say run regression, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, and then and I will, like, include is there. There is an option to exclude also. If I say control space bar, exclude is also there. So I'll exclude load, for example, right? Now, if I run this suite file, it will run me the regression and exclude the load. Is that right?
Yes.
So let's right click and say run as test-ng. So let's see, only one has run, test3, right? So let's look at the file. So test3 is the only one which is in regression. Yes?
Yeah.
Now,
But then why did it? Oh, okay. Yeah, yeah. Okay.
yeah,
Because there are only two in that
yeah.
group. Yeah.
Now
Okay.
let me let me put this test case in regression as well as load. Our group can be test case can be part of two group, right?
Mm.
Yeah. Now if I run this, let's see what happens. Right click, run as test-ng. Still one has run. Why? Because I am saying include the regression but exclude the load, right?
Mm.
So here it is an intersection of both the groups. I am
Yeah.
excluding load, so it will not run test2 because test2 is part of load as well as regression, right? So like this, you can have various permutation and combination. So let's say first time you run all test cases, second time you think that only 10 has failed and you should only run only those test cases, then you can create a group of that and just
Mm.
choose to execute only those test cases. Is it clear?
Yes.
Sandeep, Anamika, Smita, everyone, Kirti? You can acknowledge it via chat also,
Yes.
guys. You don't have to always type speak, but
Yeah.
yeah. So I have checked in the code. Please take the code and try it out. Take the code and try it out, please, quickly.
So, Naresh, while taking code from Bitbucket, can you download it or we just have to copy paste it?
You can download it. I'll show to you next session how to use Git. I'll briefly tell you. Okay. So
Fine.
let's take it manually today. Next class, I will tell you how to download the entire project completely.
Fine. Okay, no issue. Yeah.
Guys, girls, let me know if you're done. I'm waiting.
I'm done.
Okay.
So Naresh,
Yeah.
so if I have, say, for example, four files there,
Hmm.
and if I want to include two and exclude one, or include three and exclude one, then
You have
I
first
need
of
three
one second.
different
You have
tags, right?
4-5 files or 4-5 groups.
Sorry, groups.
Yes. So you can include, exclude. It is an intersection actually, right? As I just
Yes.
showed to you. So see, the benefit of this is that you can create an XML file, right, which you can include 10 different 10 different files classes, right? I have only one class, but you can have multiple classes, and in
Yeah.
the multiple classes you can add it to a group, and only those groups will get executed from maybe 10 different Java files, right?
Yeah. And can we specify multiple um, groups here by comma, or do we have to create multiple exclude
I
tags?
no, I don't think so. You can specify multiple include,
Hmm.
because if uh, comma. So
Yeah,
I
I
have never
tried. I
tried.
didn't
You
see
just
anything.
try it out. I mean, that's just
Yeah. Okay.
a real thing, right? You can check it
Hmm.
out. But include, see, when there is a, when it allows multiple values, control space bar, it will show you string array. Okay. I
Yeah.
mean, you can you can check this one out. TestNG documentation, which I gave to you, right?
Yeah.
TestNG.
Oh.
Here, if you will go here, documentation, it has all these examples, even more than what I am covering,
Hmm.
right? So you can group TestNG group, right? So can you see here how you specify a test case to be part of multiple group? So it's only one everywhere, if you will see, right?
Hmm.
Yeah, so you can even specify it with wildcard as well, right?
Hmm.
Include name is of this sort, right? So that, I believe, answers your question, right?
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
it is of starts with anything before, but
Correct.
as long as it is enabled, include that and exclude. So yes, this is, although you cannot specify comma, but you have a better option.
Yeah, because when there are hundreds of options available, then you cannot like manually type so many include tags, right?
Yeah, so but in that case, even to use this mechanism, you should have given a proper name to the test methods, right?
Right.
That you can use, but you can
Yeah.
just play around with, and that should be a simple thing to figure out, right?
Hmm.
Yeah, so that was, next we look at how we do parameter passing in TestNG. So parameter passing is like, suppose when you are running your test cases, you want to pass a value to the test case externally. Externally means, one is that I hard code the I hard code a value in Java, right? So not in Java, let's say, let me take example of let's say reporting. I'll make a copy of this and I'll call it parameters, PARAMETERS, right? Now here here I'm running two test cases. In this, I'll check whether, eh, let's say, okay, we had expected an actual value, right? So okay, then I should have taken that expected one. So where is that assertion? Okay, so let's say this is my parameter. Now here expected value is this one and actual is this one, right? But expected is something which can change depending upon a change in application, and maybe you don't want to hard code this expected value here, right? Sandeep, right? Smita, Anamika, what you can do is, you can pass this value as a parameter. How we do that is, let me explain that to you. So you can say here at the rate PARAME parameters. Since it is S, it means it can take more than one value. In the bracket, you will specify in curly braces now because it's multiple values, and you will give the name of the parameter. You will say EXP VALUA, expected value, right? Now this expected value you will also specify in the test. So let's say I will create a suite of parameters ARA, right? So I will go here. First of all, I have to change this. It is test ng underscore what it is, parameter, right? ARAMETER. After I do this, let me remove this for now. Here I'll say control space bar. Can you see parameter? In that I'll give the name. What is the name of the parameter? This is the name of the parameter. This and this should match, and whatever value I want to give, expected was welcome, WLCOME, right? So now what will happen when I run this test case? I pass the value to expect. This is the name of the variable, this is the value. I'm passing welcome to this. So when I call test ng underscore parameter, it will come here. This value will get stored in this particular variable. How do you access it? In the method you will define a string val 1. So the value will get mapped, this will get mapped to this, right? If you want to pass to, let's say, expected value and out OUTC, let's say operating system, OS. So this you have to define again here. I will define this again here. I'll say OS, and here I'll say Windows, WNDOWS. Now I'll go back here, and here OS, and I'll say string val 2, right? So now this maps with this maps with this, right? And then you can use the way you want it. I mean, I'm not going to do assertion. Now I can say sys out of exp val, for example. Sorry, it is val 1, and then sys out of val 2, right? Now if I run this suite file, right click, run as testng, right, you will see that I'm getting the values of welcome and Windows, the message which I sent here, right? Now why are we doing it like this? Because sometimes you don't want to touch your code, right? You just want to change the values of the parameter, and if you hard code it, it is not a good idea, isn't it, guys, girls, right, Sandeep? So maybe you have defined one test here, you can define one more test here, and expected is welcome 1, and this is Linux, for example. So if you now run it again, right click, run as, you can see that you can, suit cannot have, oh, I have to change the name to, it was same name or test case name, right click, run as testng suite. So now you can see that it is running for two different values, which I'm passing externally to the test case with the help of a XML file. Is it clear, Smita? Yeah, Sandeep, Smita, Anamika.
Yeah.
Okay,
Yes.
I have checked in the code. So the purpose is that I want to control the parameter passing externally without touching the code. So you can see that I can run the same test case with different values here, right, by passing different values. So this is how we can pass parameters to your test case. Like Sandeep, when you do testing in your company, you might want to run the test cases in Windows or Linux, right? So based upon
Right.
that, then you can write the logic in the test case that if OS, so here you can say if val2, which is OS, val2 dot equals let's say Windows, right? You can write one logic, else something else, isn't it? So this way it will run on two different operating system and your logic will be different. Yeah. Okay guys, please try out this program quickly. I have checked in the code in Bitbucket.